והנה מעט יש להבין מה שאמרו דנובלוס חכמה של למעלה תורה וכו'. Now, from now we need to understand this, that it said that what has fallen down from wisdom above is Torah. The dregs, the leaves that withered and so forth and fell down from the wisdom, that's Torah. Now by Torah it says, in the path of your statutes I rejoiced, kal kol hon kanal, upon any great treasure. Igama Torah nikra edus kanal, because the Torah is also called a testimony. This is the concept of edusecha, b'derech edusecha. Like we said, the concept of edus is das and hakel, from above to below and from above below to above and so forth. Dinia Torah nitna lamata b'bchinas osios tafka, because the Torah was given below. And the concept of letters specifically, ein mashkas minyan osios Torah shebechsav v'abir al pasuk l'chinim or libnei Yisrael. Look what it says about the letters of the written Torah and the explanation of, therefore you should say to the sons of Israel. That the letters are like the concept of the statement of our sages, that it's enough for a sage with just a hint. That the letters are like a hint. And in the Maamar that I am sleeping, but my heart is awake, with the concept of the letters asked me about Shaluni al-Banai. They asked me about my sons. All of these are a concept of the greatness of the letters. Also in the Torah or B'Shalach about like the horses in the chariots of power, they have female letters and male letters, as is known in the concept of, and in the Sefer Eshel Avram about them. And in from Yaakov couple in Shari Gan Eden. So you have the horses that are representative of the letters that bring down the lights. And you have female horses and male horses, like the horses of the chariots of power that had the female horses first, as explained in that Maamar. And in the Maamar, that under his legs was like the likeness of the Livnas HaSapir. There it talks about the idea of the letters and their combinations, and you have letters that are like gemstones and so forth. The concept of Malchus being the letters. There it talks about the horse that the king has rode upon. Those are the letters. I'm not sure what the Indian is in Kibbutz Yehudim. In the Maamar, I'm black and beautiful. And look in the Maamar, if you go in my statutes, there it talks about the letters of engraving. That the Torah was given specifically below with letters in the letters of the written Torah and the oral Torah. And look what it says about the Maamar about under his legs, so to speak, where it says that's a statement by Matan Torah. It's talking about the letters. And you have the letters that were engraved in luchos and so forth. Now the letters are called a testimony specifically. That a testimony is to place a sign, a remembrance about something that was forgotten, like the pile of stones that was a testimony, and the pillar that when you had this covenant, le'os, that it should be a sign v'siman, and it should point bilti yishkach hulu, that you should not forget. U'shkishiyishkach yehu le'os v'nikra eid, and if a person does forget, it'll be as a sign, and it's called a witness. That's the testimony of a person for their friend, that it's about something that's hidden, that you have to have somebody testify that it's really so. Look what it says in the Maamar about these are the commandments of the Mishkan, with the concept of the Mishkan of the testimony. There it talks about that there the Shvatim went up. Edus L'Yisrael chulu, and the end of the pasuk that is as a testimony for Israel. Both of them are a concept of the Mishkan and the Mikdash being an Edus, and testimony. And similarly, you can understand with all the letters that are called the testimony, that all the letters are a sign, they hint to something hidden. This is like intellect that was hidden inside the brain, and the speech reveals it. So too, letters that are written, they are a testimony to remember what you wrote, what you had in mind when you wrote them. That the intellect that was hidden within these letters should be understood by all. Now the letters on their own, they're only inanimate. Like it says in Sefer Yetzirah that the letters are called stones, but they testify, they're a signpost on the hidden thing that's revealed within them. And this is like the intellect or emotions that are revealed within the letters of speech. And in the written letters, and that's the reason they were called letters specifically because the word os is a sign and a symbol. Like it says that this is a sign between me and you. And it makes more sense to even say that the letters are a testify to their root and their source spiritually above, not for something else, but for themselves within their own source. Like it says in the Maamar that he brought before, therefore you should say to the sons of Israel, that there it talks about this. Also where it talks about in Tanya, where David made a name where it talks about the Kadmus HaSeichel, that the letters come from the highest place, not from the intellect, but from beyond it. And the Maamar about how mezuzah is on the right side, that the source of the letters is from the preface to intellect, and from the crown. Okay, now therefore the letters that are in speech on the level of Malchus, all the way on the bottom, so to speak. The outward revelation within all the contained letters, the outward revelation is the Malchus, this lowest level, but they're rooted in the highest level. There is testimony and a sign to the root of the letters that are in Keser, in the crown. And that's why Matat ties crowns to his maker from the prayers of Israel, meaning from the letters and the combinations. And the ability for this is because the letters hint are a hint and a sign to the concept of Keser, from which is their source. So this that we explained here, that the letters our concept of a sign and a symbol, Shuanyan Edus, which is the concept of a testimony, Hadibur, like the letters of speech, in Os ve'edus, Sheish Kaf Beis Osios, Kfuim Benefesh, they testify to their source. They symbolize the idea that there are 22 letters that are set in the soul, that they come from, in their source. Like we brought those from these sources before, that the parts of the mouth that bring out the letters and the sounds cannot be compared to playing an instrument like a harp. That you have to intend which notes to play. But exactly the opposite. The letters are the ones that move the vessels of the mouth. It's not that the vessels of the mouth move in order to make the sounds, but rather the sounds come first. The letters come first, and they come out through the mouth, and the mouth automatically says them. And the letters on their own are rooted in the soul itself. Look what it says in Likutei Torah about engraved letters. If so, the letters are then a sign and a proof for their source and their root. That is, they show to us, they prove to us that there are 22 letters that are set in the soul. It's b'nefesh atzma, the soul itself. And they are above the understood and grasped intellect. That's why letters are called as, and also the word os, which is a sign. Like we say, the testimony. Similarly, the concept of the letters of Torah, לשרשן ומקורן, they are a sign and a testimony to their root and source. So obviously the letters of the Torah, they're hinting to a different idea, not just letters in the soul, but in a spiritual, high, holy source. Look what it says in the Maamar about the tzitz, when the engraved letters within the golden tzitz on the forehead of the Kohen. You open for it. There it talks about that idea of a seal, and so forth. However, just like the letters of the written Torah were a testimony to the root of the letters. Similarly, the wisdom that's enclosed within the letters, that's called that which is fallen down from wisdom above. Torah, so that which is fallen down, the wisdom within them is just like the letters that they're enclosed in, hint to and are a testimony to the wisdom above. So just like the letters hint to their source, so too the wisdom within the letters hints to its source, into the higher wisdom. Now it says that Torah comes out from Tzion. But Tzion hu gam kein lashon siman, and Tzion also means a sign or a signpost or a testimony. Al derech b'tzelminu kidmuseinu, like it says, in our likeness, in our image. Or Parshas Miketz b'dibar maskal roni v'simchi bas Tzion, like it says in Torah, or rejoice and be happy, the daughter of Tzion. It says, explains the concept of Tzion. So our being in the likeness and image of Hashem, so to speak, is, so to speak, a signpost, a siman, a testimony to that which is higher. That's what it means that we're in the likeness and the image. It means that the construct of man within the soul, within the body, is a allegory to spiritual ideas above. Therefore, Torah comes out from Tzion, from the source of the signpost. Cumulatively, look what it says about letters. in the Zohar HaKadosh, in Vayetze, in the statement of Rachel by the Dudaim, it says, therefore he will sleep with you tonight. He will sleep with Leah tonight. Hu yishkav yeshkav beis. He will sleep with you. That yishkav, to lie down, is there are 22 letters. So the Zohar HaKadosh says, Yesh da ihu alma ilah. That the word yesh, that there's something, that is the supernal world. Like it says, to give my beloved a yesh, a something, a reward. Kaf Beis Nikuda Ilah, the Ayil Kol Kaf Beis Asfan. And what are the 22 letters? That's the supernal point, supernal dot, that brings in all 22 letters. Raz Dechol Orais, that's the secret of the entirety of the Torah. V'dahu Yishkav Chulu Einsham, and that's the secret, that's the concept of he will lie. To lie down is this supernal gift and the supernal point of the 22 letters that includes the entire Torah. It's the gift of the Torah, of the source of the Torah, above. Or I guess that if we're talking about Leah, it's the Torah as it is within thought. Whereas Rachel would be in speech or action, I guess. Especially action. Look over there in the Meforshim. Hi, Mashikos Mizel Pia Zohar Rish Pashas Noach Al Pasuk Ele Toldos Noach Dafton Tesamud Bez Gabi Da Alma Iskay Malay. What it says in Zohar HaKadosh Noach about the statement that these are the offspring of Noach, that the world stands upon them, upon it. I'm not sure what the context is there. But Medrash Rabbah B'Shir Hashir Amam Pasuk Nigil V'Nispacham B'Chav Beis Osios HaTorah. Medrash B'Shir Hashir, where it says, I will rejoice in you. Bach is Chav Beis, the 22 letters of the Torah. V'Hine Kav Beis Osios Gimel Osios Emesh. Now in the 22 letters you have the 3 letters Aleph, Mem, and Shin. Heim, Gimel, Rishonos, Keser, Chachma, Bina. These 3 letters, or usually these 3 letters, also hint to Avim, Maim, Eish, that the more supernal, more ethereal, fundamental elements of air and water and fire. They correspond here. The 3 letters correspond to the 3 highest spheros: Keser, Chachma, Bina, Zayin, Kfulos. And you have the 7 doubles of the emotional attributes of Zayin Tachtonos, the other 7 lower levels, Yud Beis Pshutos. So if you have 7 letters that are doubled with a dagesh, like Beis and Vez and so forth, and then you have 12 simple letters that don't have a double. Him Yud Beis Gvulei Alochson, and they are the 12 diagonals of the Sphira. So if you divide up the 22 letters of the Torah into different concepts of the Sphiros, so the 3 letters Aleph, Mem, Shin are the 3 highest. The doubled letters are the 7 lower levels, and the 12 simple letters are the diagonals from which the emotions express themselves through. Or Yud Beis Bakar de Bria, or even lower, the 12 cattle of Bria, the receptacle for the lights of Atzilus, the spheres above. If so, then the 22 letters include within them the entirety of all the spheres and how they're drawn down. From the emanator, the infinite may be blessed. And look about the concept of a sign in Ma'ori Or, and this is what it says. Os nikra hayisod, that a sign is called the yisod, the foundation. Just like the bris milah is a sign, is an os. Osius ravravin b'yisod bina. And if the concept of os is in yisod, so you can have different sizes of letters are going to refer to the different concepts within yisod. Big letters are in yisod of bina. Osios binunim b'yisod za. And regular middle letters are in yisod of zir anpin. Osios ktanos b'yisod of malchus. And the small letters are in yisod of malchus. Adkan l'shon. That's the end of the quote. Vayim bepardes and looking pardes is in Erchia Kinuim, I guess, as well. Vegam ki tmunas haosios hem remizos le'inyanim elyonim shebe'eser sfiros. And also because the image, the way these letters are formed and look, they hint to supernal ideas in the 10 spheros. Because of a pardis shara osios, like the pardis says in shara osios. That's why the letters are called a sign and a testimony, because they hint to these higher things. Also, like it's explained in another place concerning the residue, what's left over after the first tzimtzum, that it's a concept of letters. Reish Lamed Aleph She'arim, the 231 gates of different combinations of letters that correspond with this concept of tzimtzum, or in general, the Rishab talks about the Rishimo and the concept of Tiroilah and Tirotata as being the concept of letters as well. And these letters of the Rishimo are a hint to the infinite, so to speak, a residue of the infinite before the tzimtzum. That was there and clothed within the place, within the concept of the space that was left after the tzimtzum to facilitate creation. The chazav in isalim b'mekomo, and that infinite light that was there went and hid itself in that place. V'nisharak rishimu mehaor, and only a residue of the light remains. So that residue hints to what was above that light that got hidden. She'im calls it b'chinas rishimu zu, hu kamo remiza, that nonetheless this residue is a hint al derech mashal, allegorically lahaor shnis alim, to this light that was hidden, ma'achashu al kol panim rishimu mehaor, since it is at any rate a residue of this light. And it's possible to say that this residue, these letters, that's the concept of the Torah. Like we said, that the letters of the Torah that fell down, they're what has fallen down from supernal wisdom. That the Torah is called, that he has wrapped himself with light like a garment. So the garment is that which is hides, but it's a garment of light. So but it also reveals, because you now are dressed, so to speak, and you can go forth. And so it's a revelation that tzimtzum, the letters that reveal, that are a light. Now, the letters of speech are drawn from the breath of the heart. And the 5 strictnesses that divide up the breath. This is what it says, that Elokim answers him with a voice. Who called the Torah? And that's the voice of Torah, that was given in a concept of division of letters. That's the Hegvuros. That the breath comes up singularly from the heart and gets divided by the concept of the 5 strictnesses that divide it into different letters and parts. And the Torah was given in a state of division of letters. That's why it says that the Elokim answered him with a voice who called the Torah, and that's the voice of Torah, that was given in the concept of division of letters. like it says that the Elokim answered him. Since Elokim, specifically Elokim, is a concept of tzimtzum and division in the plural. Perish b'kol hey kolos the hey gvuros, and that's the concept of the voice, is the 5 voices. It says call 5 times by the Matan Torah. That refers to the 5 division, the hey gvuros and mechalkos hahevel, the 5 strictnesses that divide up the breath. Vainu masha amru zal, and this is what our sages said, that the Torah was given with 5 voices. Kin perish Marsha bechudush yegadus be'kama de brachos, and this is what the Marsha says in Chidush Yegadus. In brachos v'gam yesh ba mebechinas heichasarim, and also is the concept of 5 kindnesses there. Look over there.